Hello everyone, it's Tenitzu here, and welcome to part 8 of What If Naruto Was no Otsutsuki. For part 9, the like goal will be 15 as always, but without further ado, let's just get straight into part 8. Now as always, I will have a quick recap of the previous part. Naruto and the rest of Team 7 had arrived on the bridge where Naruto began to absolutely destroy Orochimaru, with the latter leaving just in time, but then everyone noticed that Sai was gone, but Kakashi traced everyone's path with a little dog summoning. But when they arrived there, they finally met Sasuke again, who called Naruto weak before leaving once more. Coming back to the village, Naruto was informed about Jiraiya's death and began learning Sage Mode until finally arriving back to the village, ready to get revenge for his master. Now, as Naruto saw Pain, he clenched his fists, swearing to kill the man in front of him, and, out of nowhere, as one Pain flew at Tsunade, ready to kill her, Naruto stomped on his back, completely destroying the Pain in process. As Tsunade stared at Naruto, she gave a weak smile, but Naruto didn't smile back as he looked at Pain with an angry expression. You killed Jiraiya. I'll never forgive you, and flew toward the animal path, punching her head off with ease as he used the Gale Palm to blow away the other paths of Pain before flying at the human path with a Rasengan right to the head, finishing him off too. The leftover paths of Pain were in shock for a good second, with Naruto completely destroying them, but that second of shock was a big mistake, for the paths of Pain as Naruto threw a gigantic Rasen Shuriken at them, vaporizing every path except for the Diva path, which was able to, well, just barely get away, but he was still horrified. But he quickly snapped out of it and began to talk to Naruto. You're destroying the peace this world has worked so hard to build. But Naruto scoffed at him while slowly walking toward him. This peace? This? He opened his arms, showing Pain the destruction he had caused. You killed Jiraiya Sensei, you killed Kakashi Sensei, and you call this peace? Don't make me laugh, you scum. Naruto ran toward Pain with so much anger flowing out of him that the Nine-Tails grasped the opportunity and started letting his chakra flow into him, to weaken the seal more and more. All of this destruction you see here, all of this happened in my village, only that it was your village who did this. With each step Naruto took, he gained another tail, before suddenly going into the six-tail transformation, and slicing off the Path's head, before absolutely destroying its body with no mercy at all. Anyone watching what was occurring had to close their eyes or look away, as Naruto was completely pulverizing the body of Pain, before hitting the ground, making the ground shake, so much everyone was forced onto their knees. There was so much hatred flowing into Naruto, it was overpowering, but suddenly he felt a hand on his shoulder. Naruto's seal was about to break, but someone stopped him from destroying even more of the village than Pain had already done. That of course being Minato. Hello, Naruto. Minato told him with a smile as Naruto looked around confused. Who are you? And how do you know my name? I'm your father, Naruto. Naruto's eyes slowly widened as he completely turned around as Minato began explaining everything about the Nine-Tails attack back then, but Naruto just seemed to get angry as he just suddenly punched him in the gut. How could you steal the Nine-Tails in your own son? Do you know how much I've suffered while you were gone? But as he withdrew his hand, he hugged his father before Minato suddenly started to disappear. Oh, I didn't know I only had this much time. He had an incredibly sad look on his face, but quickly stretched his hand toward Naruto's stomach, where the seal had turned into a black mess, and reinforced the seal once more with the Nine-Tails scowling in the background. He said his last goodbye to Naruto. I believe in you, Naruto. You'll be the Hokage. Naruto wiped away his tears as he gave his signature smile and gave a thumbs up. I will, Dad. As Naruto returned back to the normal world, he felt another hand on his shoulder. It seemed that it wasn't just his imagination, as when he turned around, he was met by Hinata, who nodded at him, giving a thanks for helping her and everyone protect the village for good. But Naruto didn't have any time to chat, as when he came back from the mindscape, he quickly entered Sage Mode once more and walked toward one of the bodies of Pain, withdrew one of the black chakra rods, and stabbed himself in the palm, wheezing whilst doing so, but he was focused as Naruto wasn't going to let the man behind all of this get away with it. Out of nowhere, Naruto was suddenly flooded with a massive information about where Pain was, a quick look at his true appearance, and the way toward him. Before Naruto was able to fully get there, he was stopped by two Jonin. However, Naruto scoffed at them as they ran toward Pain's hideout. When Naruto finally arrived at the tree, he opened it up with such force the entrance was literally ripped off. As Naruto walked in, the entire area began to shake with so much force Nagato coughed up a little blood. Seeing Naruto said, I'm holding back my rage, my fury. Give me the reason as to why you commit such atrocities. Nagato complied, telling Naruto his story. But Naruto, who had finally found an answer to his question, told him, "Do not end this curse. If there's truly a thing such as peace, then I shall grasp it. I'll never give up." Nagato realized where that line truly came from as Naruto held up the book Jiraiya had given him so long ago, telling Pain that he will achieve that true peace. Suddenly, Nagato's eyes widened as he realized the similarity between the legendary sage of Six Paths and the kid in front of him, which brought even Nagato to smile shortly as he clapping his hands together. "I shall believe in you then." Nagato performed the rebirth, causing every soul that was taken from the leaf to be restored. As everyone slowly got up from the ground, Naruto smiled a little as he walked off back toward the leaf. Arriving back at the entire village stood in front of him, as they threw him into the air, cheering for him, with him laughing in happiness. As they don't quite care for it, I will be excluding all the filler episodes, especially the goddamn boat fillers, and moving straight on to when Naruto meets B. The first thing that Naruto tried was to use his sexy jutsu to convince B to train him, but that backfired with B just shutting the door in his face. And when Naruto tried to rap to gain his approval, B just closed the door once more. Although after some time he did finally accept the proposal given to him. As Killer B accepted the proposal, he fist bumped Naruto, which was just his signature style of befriending some people, as they went on to enjoy their day, as in the outside the Fourth Shinobi World War began. The next day, Naruto, Killer B, and Yamato went into the room where B explained all of the statues here were previous Jinchurikis, which all had their head chopped off by this thing right here. Also, if you expected me to write a rap, I'm sorry to disappoint. And went on to warn Naruto that, and if you're not deemed worthy, your head will be chopped off as well. Naruto gulped as he stuck his head in with a sudden clicking noise coming out of nowhere as Naruto came out with his head chopped off. No, no, this can't be happening, Yamato said with a scared look on his face and diluted pupils, but Naruto suddenly popped his head up again. Kidding, there's just a switch in there. And B laughed. I did the same thing when I did this for the first time too. And they fist bumped, although their joy was quickly interrupted by Yamato hitting them both in the head as they entered the mysteriously beautiful looking room. As they entered, Naruto looked around slightly confused by the room, but also fascinated. It was so strange, yet so beautiful. He'd never seen anything like it, although they had no time to waste, as Naruto sat down alongside B and Yamato as he and B bumped fists. As Naruto entered his headspace, but Naruto was met by the sight of the large fox. He was slightly taken aback by its astounding size, but that was no matter, as he got his act together and concentrated, going into sage mode before opening the seal. As Naruto, as soon as Naruto did so, the Ninetales opened the gate with full force, although Naruto just stood firm as he began battling the Ninetales with astounding ease, although he was hit by some attacks which stung immensely, but Naruto was confident that he could win, so he used his Rasen Shuriken and blasted the Ninetales away, gathering its chakra. Or at least that's what he thought, as he slowly began dragging not just the chakra, but also the hatred, the absolute despise the Ninetales had with it, as the screams of the tortured of the hilt began screaming right in his head, as he wanted to shake it all away, as he slowly began transforming into the sixth-tailed state, although suddenly it was stopped, as Naruto entered a dimension he'd never seen before. It looked similar to the room he had just left, but where was he now? Before him stood a woman with red hair who smiled at him, telling him, "It's so nice to finally meet you, Naruto." Naruto shouted at her, calling her the Ninetale's true form, for which he was quickly hit over the head by Kushina, who, after saying Naruto recognized as his mother, embracing her. As they began talking, Naruto and Kushina finally made a plan to defeat the Ninetales together, as suddenly in the mindscape, chains erupted from Naruto as he was filled with a new motivation to defeat the Ninetales, which he did with relative ease, draining it from its chakras in the real world. Naruto was suddenly engulfed in a yellowish-orange chakra, which suddenly mixed with the calming blue aura, creating a pleasant shade of blue around him. Naruto had entered QB chakra mode. Now, if you liked this part, be sure to hit the like button for another part, and I just want to apologize for the lack of uploads, but without further ado, this was Tenitzu, and I am out.